We OG, we OG. Oh no, G. You're not bullish enough. Yeah. Oh no, you're not bullish enough. You ain't got the oh no. I get stoned by the bolo. Bitcoin set to overload. Yeah. Experts on reload. Yeah, yeah. You're not bullish enough. Yeah. Oh no, you're not bullish enough. You ain't got the oh no. I get stoned by the bolo. Bitcoin set to overload. Experts on reload. Mempool getting hot. Everybody wanna rock. Ayy. Runes is coming. Everybody on a knot. Ayy. It's a nuisance. Ordinal Revolution. Ayy. Ordinal Revolution. Yo, is my guy for real, bro?
Runestones.
Got French right now. Yo, BRC 420, bro.
Yeah.
Yo, that shit on fire, bro. Imagine if he in here. Yeah, lock it in the seal. Murder. I got balls of steel. Nookies on the field. Yeah, this shit for real. With no calls, I get so far. Got 100 phone calls that I go hard, and they gon' love me. Smoke weed, huddle back. I get shiesty. Where my Bitcoin looking lovely. All this Satoshi's nothing above me. Bitcoin's alive, what you gon' do? Mempool fees are high. Ordinal. Where does it stop? Nobody knows. It's a revolution, ayy. Bitcoin is the one, no substitution, ayy. With Shizzy and your Gobi, it's Ordinal Revolution.
Welcome back to Ordinal Revolution. My name is Shizzy. On this channel, we cover the entire Bitcoin Ordinal ecosystem. What's up, guys? We have an amazing show today. A lot of things different going on. Block is still having technical issues, but he will be joining us very, very shortly. So I'm going to need you guys to help me out with the show today. So please put your comments down there. Let's get some subjects and stuff like that. So Block is ready. But yeah, no Yagubi today. He's has a personal matter, and it looks like Block is hopping in right now. So let's bring him in. Block, welcome to Ordinal Revolution.
Thank you. We got it.
That was like perfect timing, bro. Like I was just done my monologue. But yeah, man. I guess we'll hop right into the king here. We usually start off the show every single day with the Bitcoin price action. We have a new monthly candle, and it is very red. What's your opinion on what's going on this month of April? Because I was expecting something very differently. I'm not sure what you were expecting.
Yeah, I was always like a little worried about the price, especially like the last couple of weeks, but we had like a really good monthly close, and like the weekly close was good as well. And like that's what I was really worried about. I was watching that monthly March close, because it was like about to put in like a disaster wick. But now, like, you know, printed a really nice candle. Because yeah, it was looking like a wick reversal candle on that March for a bit. Yeah. It got down to 61. But you know, we see an engulfing candle below that, then like I'm pretty bearish. But I'm not really freaking out. I mean, it's Bitcoin at 65,000. That's great. Yeah, nothing to be worried about yet.
I completely agree. I'm not worried. I'm not worried even a little bit. I actually bought some more Bitcoin today. I threw about 5K in today, extra, just kind of sitting in, just hanging out. It was in USDT. I was actually waiting for a pullback like this, so I was very kind of excited for it. And then I got in right at like 65, so I'm very happy with that buy-in. And I'm curious of your thoughts of like what happens in the rest of the month of April, because we're having, I mean, we're 18 days away.
Yeah. So it's anyone's guess. I think any pullbacks, it's like buy the dip kind of environment, right? Not financial advice, but that's how I would play this market now. But we could get like we've moved so far so fast, like we could get like a pretty good drawdown. And like these are kind of like, having it isn't always like great for the price. It's usually the months like following, right?
Yeah.
So I'm looking to closer to like the fall, like, you know, election season just after, for when like things really rip. So I'm wondering if we can consolidate for like a lot of the summer. We might like, maybe the market's a little too frothy, but then
Yeah.
again, like we can just have like a supply shock, and like this cycle could just be different, right? Because it's already different. Like we're already ahead of the cycle. So it's anyone's guess. Everything's on the table,
Yeah.
right? It's
Yeah.
just like old Bitcoin.
So there's two like big things that are going on right now. Some people think it's going to be a left translated cycle where we peaked before the halving and we kind of have a very short cycle. And then some people kind of think we're having a super cycle. No one's really in the camp of like the normal, 15 to 18 month cycle. Everyone's either saying it's going to be like a 36-month cycle or an 8 to 9 month cycle. What do you think we're going to have if you had to pick one of the three?
Hard to say. I'm leaning more towards like a very Bitcoin centric cycle. So I think Bitcoin like can separate itself. It's like really largely hinged on like world events at this point. Like there's other things involved other than just degenning, right? So
Yeah.
if we start getting like real institutional adoption, like we're already getting, plus governments start to fall and like hedge funds and all this stuff, then once they start allocating money to that, and it's kind of like just dominoes falling at that point. So I'm really bullish. Like I'm incredibly bullish. I think we see like, you know, like deep six figures. I just don't know the time frame. It's really hard to guess. It's really hard. The 4-year cycle thing has like definitely been, it's always like played out that way. But like, yeah, we might be separating ourselves a bit from the rest of the market, I think, this cycle.
And that I guess that would include all the layer one assets as well, right? You think they really take a step forward?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Like anything that's like Bitcoin or Bitcoin adjacent, or like in the Bitcoin ecosystem, will do like amazing, right?
Yeah.
Everything else I'm not sure of, and like the time frame is just like, if there's a supply shock on Bitcoin, then the assets will have to get repriced, and like Bitcoin might move a lot first, and then everything else will have to catch up and like mature, because we're kind of in a very like early market. Like runes are just being born. BRC20 like just got moved into what Domo's calling its phase 1. So everything's just the bare foundations right now. So like Bitcoin's like 15 years old, and it's doing its thing outside of our environment right now. So we kind of got to catch up, maybe.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, we're definitely late with this, right? Like, don't you think Ordinal should have happened 5 years ago, 6 years ago?
Yes. Yeah. Preferably. It would have saved everybody a lot of time and money.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. I mean, when Vitalik was creating Ethereum, that's when Ordinal should have been. I mean, even Vitalik was bullish on the colored coins, which ends up being what runes are today. Correct?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. Real quick, I just want to jump through a thing I call roll call real quick, just to kind of see who's here, because there's people that are here every single day. We got number one, we got Danny Boy. First is first. That's how we roll in Bitcoin, and Danny is first today. Thank you, Danny, for being first today. Then we got Crypto Noob in the building, Mike's World, Green Man, Harold, every single day. Mr. Sheedy, he's back. And then we have Yazir, always here. And then we have Brian. It's a Toshi. And then we have Chidi, Wendy Yam, Magic, Bosco, I Walk Alone. Feel free to put your questions in here, guys. We'll get to them in the back end of the show. I Walk Alone again, Glass Hopper, Ebuck in the building, and then we got I Walk Alone again. Who else? AOD Art, Tim, welcome to the show. And we have Patty Poo, Brian again, Brian Landry. Who else? We have Vaxzone in the building. Who else? We got Ferris Fernando, first time here. Jayhawks TV, first time here to this. And we have Chief Axel, always here. Aso in the building. Ripple Man, Jason Carasso. And then we have Carlos CLS. Welcome to the show, guys. And we'll kind of get along with the show here. I have a bunch of topics to kind of go through. So have you used the Unisat wallet yet?
I've poked around it. I haven't actually used it to make a transaction yet.
Gotcha. What would you say you like about it so far from just peeking at it?
I like the UI. I'm familiar with it. It's like just like the extension, and it
Gotcha.
does like it's pretty slick. Everything loads up really nice and quick. I'm excited for the dApps to get filled out, like start to get a list of dApps you can just access within the app.
Yeah.
Like Uniworlds, like should be hitting anytime soon. And
Soon. Like that's
yeah,
that soon?
they said within 2 weeks, and this is like a week ago.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, from like the yeah. So I think we get to poke around in there. They got like 10 pre-made worlds to start.
Yeah.
And then the creator studio will get added in Q2 for us to use. But for now, it's like you can well, we'll see what they let you do. But yeah, I'm pretty excited for it. Like, and that was always, I was pretty surprised by that because we don't really know much about Fractal Bitcoin, right?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's definitely one of the questions I would like to get into. Would you say? I'm sorry.
Yeah, well, that's like Uniworlds is like the showcase kind of for Fractal Bitcoin. Like it leverages it to like to do what they're doing. So like that's the whole idea is like Fractal Bitcoin's built into the app. Uniworlds, is like an extension of Unisat and to like build a metaverse and like showcase how Fractal Bitcoin can be used to like interact with layer 1 objects and items and all that.
So what is Fractal Bitcoin? Like in like a kind of like basic layer. Like what if you were explaining to somebody from outside looking in, what would you say it is?
It's like it's a different flavor of layer 2, I guess. It's something that hasn't been done before. And from like I'm still like digging through it. So it's actually it's very technical. It's a little over my head. But from like what I've digested, it's basically like okay, so what they've done is they tore down, like Unisat tore down and rebuilt Ord client. And from like the documentation that they recently put out, they've also like torn down and rebuilt Bitcoin Core. And I think like they're kind of putting them together in their own way, like is basically what's happening. So you're gonna like run Core that like helps run this like Fractal Bitcoin alongside of it. That's like it's almost like a layer 1.5. But it's hard to like see how it all integrates with modular OPI, all this stuff. It's like all kind of just floating around out there, and you can see that they're like all aligned, but I don't know exactly how it's all gonna work. Like how do like BRC20 modules integrate with Fractal Bitcoin, and like how does Fractal Bitcoin and all these clients that people need to run to enable it, like the OPI thing and the Fractal, how does that all like what does that equal, right? So that's like hard to judge. I think it's just like we just got to wait and see. It feels like it's like a Manhattan project for Bitcoin. Like it's been undercover, like they've had the best minds on it, and we just don't know. It's just like I think it's just gonna hit us, and we're gonna have to like absorb it. But it's their version of a layer 2, but they're pitching it as like closer to Bitcoin. Like it's like somewhere in between 1 and 2.
Yeah, that's definitely something that Unisat does all the time. They just say like they just throw stuff at us, and then we have to like absorb it. Like that happens all the time, especially with this new thing that they just dropped. I was wondering if you can get into it a little bit, but I'll just read it off. It says Unisat announces that Unisat now supports minting and deploying with 5 byte tickers functionality, but you can only deploy and mint full supply. To cater to specific needs of stablecoin projects, 5 byte assets can be configured without a maximum limit by setting the cap to 0. So what exactly is the point of minting and deploying the 5 byte tickers in your opinion?
I feel like they're like more of a sideshow. They just like what they really needed to unlock was the infinite issuance and burning, and that unlocks stablecoin. And they just need to do it. They were like, okay, we're gonna make like a class of ticker. We'll call them like the 5 bytes, and we'll just like start with that one. And it's so like they need those 2 things to unlock a stable coin. And like kind of like the collateral damage was like they had to create a new class of ticker. And so like there is now like an opportunity there to also like obviously like squat on those names but for like, because they're not open free mints, none of them are. Like maybe late April, Domo's kind of saying in the documentation they might open up, but by then, like most of the good names are gone. So
Yeah.
you know, it's kind of like it's a different flavor of BRC20s. There's a lot of camping going on, but then there's also just like a lot of like projects that want like really good names for like the next season of BRC20s, like these dexes and the swaps and all the DeFi stuff that's coming and whatever metaverse stuff and like anything you can imagine that people want to do with JSON. It's like cooking right now, but we need like these like foundational things to get done for BRC20. So like Domo said, we just went into phase 1. So that's like, yeah, we need things like if we have like a swap module and I can swap between assets, that's great, but it's not that great until I can peg like I have Bitcoin in there or a dollar. So it gives me confidence so I can get like liquid, right? I can go to a stable where I can go to Bitcoin. So mixing those two things is like really important. Like it can't just be like everything's outside the modules. They got to be like integrated. So it's just a huge step for BRC20, but we got to see like how it ships and who ships it. But like I'm really excited for a stable coin because the stable coin changes everything.
Yeah, you're definitely right. It does change everything, but like being in Bitcoin, I liked it when we were able to. Everything was in Bitcoin, right? Everything was priced in Bitcoin.
Yeah.
I totally stopped thinking about dollar value when I was buying BRC20s. It was always about just to get more Bitcoin, right? So having the stable coin now, what changes? Do we just does everything just get valued in the stable coin, or is that just a second option?
I think second option, it probably will make it so we can have like a Bitcoin pairing too. It's like the next unlock, right? But you just need they're just like the basic foundations for like to attract liquidity and traders and build confidence in the market. So I prefer to also trade denominated in Bitcoin. Like that's by far my preference.
Yeah.
But having like other traders not so much, and they want to be able to move also out of Bitcoin into cash or fiat like at the snap of a finger. And you know, that's just everybody's preference. Like they just need to enable all that like possibility in the trading environment.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I think that it's just like everything's just like bubbling up now. But yeah, the fractal Bitcoin is some kind of like massive cook that like if you look at the white paper they put out like January 31st, it's very like mathematical. They got like people different degrees cited in there, and like it's very like, you know, it's more elaborate than like what we're used to seeing from documentation in our ecosystem for sure. So I'm very bullish on it.
Yeah, it seems really complicated. Like I tried to dive into it, and I found myself kind of copying things and kind of pasting in ChatGPT and like kind of
Yeah.
asking it questions. I found myself doing that a lot. It was very technical, even for my level. And I mean, I've been around for a little while now, but it's I'm very curious how that's going to work out and stuff like that. But you would say you're very bullish on it.
Yeah, because I think it's all about incentives, and like Unisat has like they're like kind of have a seat at the table now that with the foundation and everything. So
Yeah.
and like they're kind of in charge of like pushing the envelope with like Binari. So like and like trying to like come up with like the next thing in BRC20. Yeah, obviously Unisat's very geared towards that. Like they want to move faster than Domo does because we saw that around New Year's when that they had that whole squabble, right? Like it was like very so obviously Unisat does want to like push it, but everybody's just kind of like got realigned and like it killed like 3 months, which like really killed momentum, and it's given like Runes a huge opportunity, but I'm like not really faced with it. I feel like it's just a season and we just gonna have to wait. You know, you just gotta it's like you just gotta hodl, right? You gotta let the guys cook, right?
Yeah. It does seem like Unisat is dependent on BRC20s. You haven't really had them come out and talk about runes or anything yet. Obviously, they brought in ARC20s, and everyone just thinks that was a way to kind of test for runes. Have you heard anything about Unisat and runes?
I think they're gonna support them. Yeah,
Okay.
I can't remember where I saw that, but I'm pretty sure like it's just like it's like a no-brainer for anybody. Like you need liquidity, you need activity. Like you can't be like become the dinosaur, right? So you just you turn everything on, right? Like you just like whatever is hot, like you just make it so people can trade it on your platform. It's you'd be stupid not to, right?
Yeah.
But I'm trying to remember like where I heard it, but I think it was like in a Spaces with Lorenzo. He was asked about it recently.
Gotcha. And it would be such a missed opportunity if they didn't do that, because they're I mean their marketplace is one of my favorites to use, right? For those type of coins and stuff. So that would be fun. One more question about this, and we can jump into something else. So when the stablecoin does come out, and let's just say Fractal Bitcoin isn't out yet, the swaps aren't out yet, are we gonna see Bitcoin and like USDT pairing kind of like on the marketplace?
I think so, yeah.
That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, that would be good. Yeah.
Because you can kind of go pick and see, like someone could put their Bitcoin value up there at a USDT value, and then I guess you would just pick the amount of USDT you would want, and it depends. I don't know. I thought that was like a really cool concept, but yeah, man. So my next question kind of gears what we just talked about. So with OKX and Magic Eden really taking charge and being the first publicly to say that they will be Rune's marketplaces, will these little marketplaces like Rune's Alpha and Rune's Pro, do they have a chance at being potentially even being used?
Yeah, it's tough. Like, yeah, that's tough. I don't know. Magic Eden is killing it. Like, to be honest, like they're just. People are familiar. They go there every day already to check on their ordinals, check prices. So
yeah,
and like they've got their new wallet that I haven't really been using, but like I know people use it all the time, and it's like you can swap between. It's multi-chain, It's kind of, and OKX is the same way, multi-chain, like very advanced wallet. I have played with the OKX wallet, and like you can swap into Merlin and stuff now. Like they're very quick to integrate. And yeah, they're like. All their UI is very like good, like it works, right? So it's gonna be hard to like draw people away from those two players for sure.
Yeah, and especially with the OKX, wow, like you don't even need to go to a site, like everything's right there for you. It's so cool. Yeah. So if I go there and I can get uncommon goods without even going to a freaking website, that's onboarding, right?
Yeah.
So. And do you think Runes is really going to onboard a lot of people that missed out on BRC20s? That give them that fresh start that maybe they needed, because BRC20s just kind of came out of nowhere. Like Unisat just kind of threw it at us, and we just kind of rolled with it for a whole year. It doesn't seem like it happened very quickly for us, but for other people, they weren't hearing about this BRC20s till September. We were already 6 months ahead of them. Do you feel like Runes is that fresh start for them?
Like it can be, but I feel like it's like a tough road, honestly. Like it's got so much attention and it's like such a hype cycle, and it still has like the same problem as all other tokens. The token ecosystem is like, why? Like, what's the point? And so like after we push through like creating and etching and people have balances, then it's like, what do we do with them? And I'm it's just like Degen Chain and Solana are really giving people like the nonstop dopamine hits that are like come so fast. And like the shitcoin trading is so furious over there. I'm a little worried that like it's going to be difficult to draw certain types of traders over. Like initially everything's still going to be like clunky and hard to understand and figure out. Except for people that are like native to ordinals. But even like people native to ordinals are like having a tough time like getting synced up, getting all their shit together. And when they finally get the ord client downloaded, like there's a lot of commands when it comes to like etching runes, like a lot of stuff you can do. So yeah, it's a little in the weeds, right? And like BRC20 was just like super easy. It was just like deploy, mint, transfer, and it's just like JSON. You copy the paste the shit. Like it was very like kind of low IQ kind of protocol, like off the hop, and it was just more organic. But this is like furious on like halving day, which is like huge amount of attention on it. But I think we're drawing a lot of attention from the other chains, but I don't know how normies get over here and get adjusted to where we are in our like little ecosystem, because it's just like learn Bitcoin, learn ordinals, learn runes, like learn the differences between. It's so much. It's such a a curve, it's such a high learning curve, right? It's a little
Could
tricky
could
right now.
could Merlin be that in between where you take the whole supply of a runes, throw it into the NPC wallet, and then trade it on a platform like Merlin Swap or Vertium Dex or whatever dexes that are on there? Could that really be that in between for those degens to kind of onboard to Bitcoin, but through something that they obviously understand, which is EVM?
Yeah, honestly, yeah. It's like the big opportunity in like the unlock for like builders, I think, is like, oh, there's a problem, like how do I solve it? Because that's like how you like attract it, you'll get an edge in the market. And like right now the problem is like integrating with all of this stuff. And yeah, Merlin kind of hits the sweet spot, right? And they like very smartly position themselves like very close to Ordinals, like bitmap community, like intertwined with all these things, like got like a lot of Goosenal stake, a lot of node monks, a lot of frogs. So like very like integrated with Ordinals. So like I think that's like that was like the genius play, and that's like what separates Merlin from all of the rest.
Yep.
The outlier is Fractal Bitcoin, because just like so much has like not been revealed yet. And then I think those are like the only two big dogs in the market for this right now. And like there's like a list of like 20 other players, but those are the two I'm focused on. And yeah, I think that is like the gold mine. Like that's like the nut everybody has to crack. It's like, how do we take Ordinals and like what everybody's familiar with and make it easy, right? And make it so someone that like hears about it can just come to the ecosystem, and like maybe they've been burnt from last cycle and it's been 2 years, then maybe it'll come over and just like use it like that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it gives them basically three options. You can throw your make your MetaMask wallet, because there obviously a lot of people know how to use EVM type wallets. You can throw your Merlin stuff in there. Boom, you can buy it that way. You can go to a centralized exchange, because a lot of these runes are going to be on centralized exchanges, because it's probably going to be really quickly, because they're going to want that volume. Or you can learn Bitcoin and do everything the clunky way that we like. I enjoy doing it the marketplace style. And there's gonna be things that are coming that I'm hearing from like Runes Pro, that you're gonna be able to go the other way, and you're gonna be able to do sell orders and not just buy orders and not just sell orders as well. So that'll probably be adopted by the bigger players like Magic Eden, OKX. So there will be more to come with that. But like so having the three really brings a lot going on, and I think Merlin will probably bring on board more people than Bitcoin, because of that ease of use that you were just talking about.
Yeah,
man.
Yeah, it's a huge opportunity for whoever can like figure that out and like get the actual users over. Then that's going to be huge.
Yeah, man. I'm very excited for what for Merlin. I mean, obviously, they call us the Merlin boys, so I'm very excited for everything Merlin here. But we'll jump to something that you are very bullish on, and that is Uniworlds, right? What can you spoke a little about it earlier, but for someone again, the outside looking in, what is Uniworlds, and what are you hoping this changes in the ecosystem?
I just like, it's like very much like the promise that like was kind of like the very enticing thing that was like quad keys is like Uniworlds now, which is like, oh, it's not really decentralized in a way, but it's got a very powerful central force that like if they choose to push it, it can go like a long way. Like they can, like there's different advantages to being like completely organic, decentralized a la BRC20s versus like more centralized rollout like runes. It's the same thing like bitmap and Uniworlds, right? So Uniworlds is like, they did smash like through like 100,000 namespaces in like 72 hours, I think, and then like kind of like cut it off. So there's like 115,000 supply or something. And like these people get to like test it when this like ships. And I think it's like one of those things. It's like when you look at like the creator, like the screenshots there, it's like very like, oh, okay, there's a cook here, and there's other screenshots of like the from their post where they have like the app.
Yeah.
Some of the images, and it shows like the pre-made worlds. There's like a racing world. There's like a lot of gamification, and it's like the same thing as like what Jeff talks a lot about when he like aligned himself with bitmaps. It was like, we're gonna build for bitmaps. You can draw in like a huge community, and then it's just like a matter of like getting it done. It's the same with like Uniworld. It's like we've like made a namespace like from scratch, but like they want to like draw in. I think like the main play for like all of this is like giving some kind of functionality that gets people to come back every day, and that's all about incentives, and that's all about like aligning with BRC20s. And that's why I'm more bullish on Uniworlds. It's like, because Unisat's got that fronts, they're driving, like, you know, they're in the driver's seat for BRC20s. They got this like hidden like layer 1.5 like people really don't know that much about, and it's like feels like it's all about the ship with their app. So that feels like, oh, like all of a sudden I'm able to like just open this app, like an app that I use every day potentially for trading ordinals, and I can just like with a couple presses of a button I can be in like the metaverse. And like, you know, if their creator is like decent, like if it's like you can like really create some like cool stuff like 3D environments and like customize everything, like if it's deep and like rich, then like people will make some cool stuff, and then they can incentivize because they have the big bucket of sats to like pull from, right? And like all these other things, so they can just incentivize things, and they can have like events and stuff, whereas like the bitmap community just has to like kind of get it together and figure it out themselves. And like Jeff is trying to like work to that end, but like they also like, you know, it's hard to like, you know, where does that person just emerge from? Like unless you have a Jeff that just shows up, it's still like everybody's kind of like spinning, like, you know, they're kind of like kicking their feet. They're like, you're waiting on this thing to happen, but like where does the money and the development and the minds come to like make it happen? Yeah. And that's where like having a central player is so like great, because like, you can just be like, if they have money, they can just say, hey, like I hire like this team, you guys build it, right? And that's kind of like how they approached Goosenals. Actually, they're like, hey, like, yeah, we'll like do a partnership with you guys. You guys tell us what you want, and we'll just build it for you. Like, we're just gonna make zoo.uniworlds, and we're gonna just like tell us what you want to make it fun, and we'll just like, we have a team, we'll pay them to build it for you. It's like, okay, great. Like that's like really, thank you, right?
Yeah.
And if I can use that, like I can pick up my phone and just be like, oh, okay, like I can just like make a trade, buy some items, and I can turn it the other way, and I'm in the like, you know, zoo.uniworlds, and I just log in, and it's just like my wallet balance is there. I tip people, like we have events, we have a race, like that kind of stuff. That's like, oh, like now we're doing it. So like that's kind of exciting, right?
Will sats be the currency of Uniworlds? Will I be able to like tip people in sats and stuff like that?
It wouldn't surprise me at all if like that wasn't the case. But I think OrdG is like a big maybe part of this. The Ords Games team. I know like they have stuff shipping, like I think at the Hong Kong conference, including like a hardware device, which they kind of put out there the other day. I don't know if you saw, like if you go to Ords Games and their like profile, but they have they kind of like baited like us with like a hardware device. It's like a like little Game Boy that they're kind of saying like you can mine Bitcoin on, and it was like on April Fools, but like they are working on a hardware device. And Unisat's like got this thing called Inscription War that like they're working with Ords Games on, and it's like basically to create layer 1 items like loot and like, you know, all that like dungeon equipment type of stuff. And
oh, I love the name of it, the BitBoy.
BitBoy. But like that's like a tongue-in-cheek thing, but they are working on like a hardware device with like some kind of like gamification. It's like very weird because, you know, like that's like a no, like that's a lot of money, and like that those things usually go sideways, but like they're doing it anyway. So I wonder what the cook is. It's all very interesting. I think we'll know like in a month. Like,
yeah.
Right.
I love the name BitBoy. It's
Right.
such a troll. It's so
Yeah.
Oh man. So with the Uniworlds or whatever, is my car going to be an ordinal? Is my house in this going to be an ordinal? Are they gonna really
Yeah.
do that type of stuff
No.
in here?
I think so. Like, I think that's like kind of like a bit of the pitch. Like, that's been a lot of the pitch from Lorenzo and like kind of like the Ords Games team as well for like whatever they're working on with Inscription Wars, like layer 1. But I think they need Fractal Bitcoin to pull it off, and like we just don't know enough about that. But like, yeah, they're very like, no, it's going to be like layer 1 items, and like I think they're all just going to be JSON. Like, it's just all new modules and new like protocols, new functions within BRC20, and it's just like the upgrade we had the other day, which unlocks so much.
Yeah.
It's just like the start. Like, I think we're gonna get like many upgrades, and like Domo and them, they're gonna start like really pushing stuff out. I think things are like gonna start to like really snowball here. Like, the foundation was like built for a year, and now it's like time to go.
Do you think they're waiting for runes to kind of hype cycle to kind of go? Do you think it's going to be like right as runes kind of set, like the sizzle kind of comes out? That's when they're going to come out and they're going to, hey, boom, all this stuff right in your face.
Yeah, probably. Like, they have to like there's a lot of news. Everybody's just taking advantage of the halving to like make announcements. But yeah, I think like the real like cool stuff's maybe like 6 months away still. Like the really cool stuff, like many modules. Like they made a pitch in some kind of, I can't remember where I saw this, but it was like 10 million indexers for 100,000 modules. Like, so like, you know, like a dramatic, like I think they're like building frameworks for creators to build their own modules, set their own rules for environments, and like interact. And like that's for like any kind of BRC20, but also Ordinal. And adding like parent-child, that's another thing that's like very overlooked with like the upgrade, is parent-child got added. So now we're like using the unique attributes of ordinals to like in our token ecosystem, and then that's what separates our stuff from the other chain stuff. Is like we have these like unique properties of Bitcoin and ordinals that we can like do cool stuff with. So like now we have deploys where you don't have to like mint the supply out or anything. They're just like, once it's confirmed, you don't have to worry about it getting front ran or whatever, right? It's like we just cut like the cost of deploying in half, like basically. Gotcha. If you're like looking to privatize a token, right? So like the next, there's just like so much going on. Like it's just busy time. But yeah, like the parent-child stuff, like I'm really interested in, because the non-fungibles, which I kind of like specialize in, like I've always like kind of seen that potential of like birthing a collection, kind of like the ERC 404 stuff, birthing a collection from a token, right? So you need to hold the token to create the child. The child is like your collection or whatever. There's like cool stuff you can do with ordinals and tokens together, right? There's like real cool stuff on the way.
How could you create parent-child with a BRC20? I guess you would use the deploy inscription as the parent.
Well, I think what like so for like a collection, I would just you can like parent-child anything, right? Because they're all ordinals. So you would just I would do, if it's like an open free mint like the Matrix Zones was done, the mint or the transfer inscription, probably the transfer inscriptions. Like you can create a module that says you need a transfer inscription with a balance of X, 5 or 10, and then you generate a child, and then that's a valid inscription or part of a collection to be indexed. And like maybe those can be burnt, because like burning has just been enabled with BRC20, or they just get fed back to the deployer to be recycled for like the project's uses in the future or whatever. But it's just like options now. There's a lot of options, and they're encouraging people to like pitch this kind of stuff at the layer 1 foundation. I think it's all going to happen. Like now that like we're starting to fuck around with it, like there's a lot of stuff getting thrown around in there.
Yeah. And speaking of burning, us being unique over here, having Satoshi's wallet as our burn address, like
Yeah.
how big do you think that is, and how different is that?
That's super cool.
Yeah.
They were actually pitching. I really like that. Like it's like very like legendary, right? You can interact with Satoshi's wallet. That's how I prefer to like burn stuff. But then there's this still like outliers saying, oh, he could like emerge, right? He'll wake up and he's gonna sell like the Bitcoin frog or whatever. He's gonna be worried about the Matrix phones. But
Bitcoin's go to zero if that wallet ever wakes up anyway, right? So it doesn't even matter.
It'll be a problem for sure. But like for BRC20s, I haven't dug into it enough, but apparently the burn is just like by sending the BRC20 to an op return that has no data in it, which is like over my head, but it's a way of burning apparently.
So Casey's not using Satoshi's wallet in that instance.
I don't know about for runes, but for the BRC20s, like burn that was just added, that's how they're doing it. And I don't.
Gotcha. So they're not using Satoshi's wallet for that. Okay.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, but I love the Satoshi wallet burn. I think it's great.
I think it's the best part about Bitcoin is like you could send it to Satoshi Nakamoto's wallet and go on forever. So, but yeah, man. All right, we'll go to the next thing. I like to play this game with our guest here. It's called Bullish or Bearish. I'm going to give you a bunch of tickers, and you just tell me bullish or bearish. And if you want to give a reason why, that would be awesome. But if you want to just go to the next one, we can just go to the next one. So, Sats, bullish or bearish?
Bullish.
And I'm guessing because
why? Because it's down like 75%, and Unisat's behind it, and it will just it's you know, it speaks for itself. Like huge mint, long runway, lots of holders, big supply, central player.
Ordi's not on here. I don't know why, but Ordi.
Bullish. First is first.
First is first. There you go. Rats.
That one's tough. Neutral, kind of.
Okay, neutral's a good answer.
Bullish, but I just don't. It just depends on that's a community thing, right? Depends on the community. Super. One of the first memes to really explode. The biggest meme on BRC20 so far.
Yeah, I loved Rats because it just had that fire, you know, it just had the excitement. It was that was the best time in the last in the year for me. But when Stats was taking off and Rats was coming out, and everything else was just exploding. That was kind of like the pivotal moment in Ordinals where I was like, all right, I'm in the right place at the right time. Like,
that was so much fun. Yeah.
Oh man, the animal tokens. We had so many animal. The zoo was just out. Oh man, if you were around there, guys, you know what we were talking about. But Pi.
I don't know enough about it.
Yeah, really? I don't either. This is what I'm really curious on. I think I know your answer here, but track
down
at $2.96.
I'm bearish for but track's a weird one because it's a BRC20. It's not like tap protocol, right? But it's but it's just tied to all of that. So I'm bearish overall, but it's had a drawdown. I think it went to over $7. No, so
$8 almost. Yeah.
So yeah, I think when BRC20s get hot, it'll just get hot again probably. But so much of that depends on Benny and Tap and Track and where all that goes. But they can sustain themselves. It'll make a comeback. I don't longer term than that. I'm bearish.
So right now, if you had to take a guess, lower or higher from here in the next couple weeks?
Lower.
Okay.
Yeah.
A bunch of these are just kind of new ones. So if you don't know much about it, just say pass. AINN, bullish or bearish?
They just did a huge drop. I don't know if you got that drop. Did you get
No, I didn't get the I should probably check. I have so many wallets that I rarely look in them, but
yeah, it's called the Rune Star.
Okay.
It's like a 20-second long video that appeared in my wallet, really high quality, interesting, really weird. You can sell them on OKX. I don't think they're on Magic Eden yet. I think it's
oh wow,
200,000 airdropped or something, the biggest airdrop yet. Wow. Don't know enough about it. It went out to like the top wallets for a pile of different BRC20s. So like if you're like top 3,000 rats holder, you got it. Like all this, but like a lot of my shit's locked up in modules or committed to B Squared or Merlin or wherever I got all place. But I did get one, and yeah, it was pretty neat. But yeah, I don't know enough about the community, but it's like there's something going on with this one for sure.
Yeah, I'll skip a couple of these. .com, bullish or bearish?
Don't know what they could possibly do with it, so I'm bearish for now. But it was hot at one point.
It was very hot. Puppets community, one of the biggest communities in Ordinals. What do you think about Pups?
Is it $4 something there or
$3.94?
Yeah, I'm bullish, like sub $5. I'm bullish. Yeah, it's hard to deny the puppets, right? And like going into runes, like it's an exchangeable token, so it's basically a runes, but you can buy it as a BRC20 right now. So bullish.
Yeah, that is pretty big. I didn't even think about that because they are making it in runes, right?
Yeah, yeah. So it's like a straight like claim or something.
Gotcha. This is one of the biggest communities in Ordinals. Another one, BTCS. I think communities is one of the biggest part of why Ordinals is so special. But what do you think about these crazy guys?
I don't know what to think. Like I remember when that mint was going on, I was like so tired of minting. I faded it, and I watched it run up to like $20 a token.
It was crazy.
That's like Ordi gains, right? Like that was like a real exponent, and I missed it. But it's down so bad from that high. It's 90%. Probably 90%. It's just like, I don't have a feel for that community, so it can like either go down another 90% or it can come back. But like definitely 90% drawdown is pretty attractive. Like everything in BRC20 land's kind of like, if you believe in the protocol and you think it'll like make a comeback or resurgence, or like you think like Domo and Unisat are cooking, like will ever like gain momentum again, I think it's a great buying area. It just depends on which token you're interested in.
Yeah, for sure. The last one I'll go on is ZBit for over here. What do you think about ZBit? Bullish or bearish?
Bearish, I think, but it might be another rune play. So
it is.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but yeah, I think just their ecosystem is like very frothy. They do like an amazing job with their airdrops. It's just like so much and dilution. I don't know how committed people are to Bitcoin machines as like a community, but probably short term bearish, maybe. I mean, bullish, maybe. It's hard. I'm very like wishy-washy on that one.
Yeah, no, I hear you. I mean, the BTC machines have an insane community. One of the biggest in Ordinals. It's very expensive to get in. I think the BTC machine is like 1.2. But what do you think? Bullish or bearish on these guys?
Oh, Goosenol's always holding this like line here at 0.1, 0.11, 0.12 for like so long now. So
yeah,
it's like part of the reason why I'm like much more bullish on the Goose than others is because like the art just like, and like it can make the like legitimate art case that like so many Ordinals collections claim that they can do, the fine art shill. Like Goosenol's can like actually say like our artist is this guy and his collection on ETH, it has a 30 ETH floor, right? Like the Goose is undervalued as far as I'm concerned. This is Dimitri's artwork on Bitcoin, community led, community driven. Obviously down like 80% from the high, just like everything's been bleeding out. But yeah, for the like foundational, like a longer term, like the Goose is still around, 6 months later, there's lots of PFPs floating around on spaces still. So I'm very bullish, right? I love the genesis of this collection was just so special with like an artist that like most people on our side didn't understand. And like how I was attracted to it was through Domo. So it's kind of like spawned from Domo, which doesn't get talked enough about. And then like the artist is Dimitri. So it's like this real, it was very novel for its time, right? And it like reignited the 10Ks, like it restarted the whole thing.
I mean, and don't get me wrong, that you're the godfather of this, right? You took the Domo and the Dimitri, put it
Yeah.
together. I mean, there would be no Goosenals without Block, right?
Yeah, I don't know if it'd be named Goosenals or like, but we like me and like we found it live in a space. Like
Yep.
I found like Domo's tweet. It led us to the generator. We realized we could inscribe them, and then we started inscribing, and we were still like not even part of the first 10. So there would have been some kind of goose. You just don't know which community would have like named it,
Yeah.
indexed it, like who would have done that work. But it was already happening before like we even got on it, which was like, I do wonder like what would have happened if we just taken the day off, like
Yeah.
what the roadmap would have been and like who the central players would have been and everything. But yeah, it was just like the most organic thing that ever could have happened.
And I mean, honestly, without the support desk, these gooses are not 0.01, right? Because you guys really, you guys just basically hammered at home that this was a collection that was out there. Like I wouldn't even known about Dimitri if it wasn't for Goosenals and stuff like that. Because I'm not really big on art and stuff like that. But this really kind of took it to people who were like me, who were like DeFi and like coins type of person. This is one of the first collections that I participated in. So that was really cool on the art side of it. So. But we'll jump into Bullish or Bearish here again for the Ordinal Collections. Ink, Bullish or Bearish. And I know what happened to you at Ink. You got whitelisted, but then they took it away.
Right.
What kind of shit is that? But
I don't know if I would have been a good community member, to be honest, though. Like I was kind of looking to get a little liquid, so I would have been. And I'm not much for selling, but like this one with the reveal and all of that. I've been burnt on reveals enough. I'm over that whole thing. Don't do reveals unless you want your collection to dump post, like, horribly post reveal.
But what happens with reveals though is pretty people just try to get the rares, right? They'll buy up a bunch of the unrevealed and then they dump the ones that aren't rare, and then hopefully they can make up for that with the really rare one. Like in this case, it would have been the rifts, right? You were buying a whole bunch of them to see if you could get a rift, and the ones that you didn't get, you floored them for whatever you could take. So but then that's what happened.
So I'm I think bearish, but I'm really interested in this dynamic that's going on between Inked, On One Force, and Rune Whisperers.
I know.
Yeah, I love this this 3 collections that just emerged the same week, and yeah, it's weird how the market's pricing them, because you can see like Rune Whisperers can do a 10x to catch up to these guys. So people are like, oh, the upside, or it's organic. I got it for. We minted it. It's for Runestones. First Runestones 10K. It's got so many things going on for it. And the art's good. Like people are like, oh, this art's better than I expected. So
the art's phenomenal.
The art is good.
I'm bullish on AI art. Like I'm sorry. AI does a better job than humans, right? I'm sorry. Like this looks phenomenal. Like it really does.
Collection's clean. Yeah, it's nice. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's the thing too. The Rune Whispers is kind of like the big FU to the token gated, overpriced human art. You know what I mean? It just came out of nowhere. It was, if you had a runestone, you were eligible to mint, I think 5 of these, right? So it was, and it was fairly priced. I think price was like what, $50. I think a lot of that went to gas.
Yeah, depending on the gas fee, it's like literally I think it was like $7 is like what the creator took as a fee or whatever gamma, and the rest is just the weight of the image. So I think a lot of it was getting shipped around $70. Like I shipped like 001, just under 0009 type of area. That's what I paid. I had like 15 sat fee bytes.
Yeah, and obviously these are expensive to put on chain, right? Because I mean, well, it's expensive, but and I'm sure gamma, they like the gamma fee people, so I'm sure they took a nice chunk, right? Is that something that happened, you think?
I think it was like just a few bucks per, like, obviously a few bucks adds up, but like, whatever their platform, everybody agreed to it. You signed the transaction.
Yeah.
But relative, like entry price, like relative to the other two, obviously is like great, and it's like, I don't know who cooked this up that quick for Runestones. They did like a great job. I know that there is an artist tied to it. I just don't know enough about him. Yeah. But like, it's purple, it's black, it's got runes on it. It's like different and interesting. Got animals. It's kind of like hitting a lot of the marks. So people are pretty excited about it, despite the drop in the price. But
Yeah, and
everything's
the
dropping.
animals. Yeah, well, everything is, but
Yeah.
especially when Bitcoin's dropping low. But it's just such a great mixture of of animals and all and it's all crazy, crazy stuff. I guess look at this. Like you don't see that in
Yeah.
any collection, right?
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool. So heading back to Magic Eden here. Runestones, bullish or bearish?
Bullish.
Bullish.
A lot of people have been selling theirs off. I've sold a handful just to like get liquid for certain other things, or I'm like, they're just for a variety of reasons, but I still hold more than half of what I was given. And yeah, I'm pretty bullish. I think they can, like, next levels like 0.65. Once we get past that, this like 0.75 to 0.125 area is like what I'm looking at for, like, it being $1 billion token essentially.
You think
After
that?
Yeah,
Yeah,
like after the space yesterday with Casey, I'm kind of more bullish on a lot of the pre-mined stuff. All of a sudden, I'm like, oh, Uncommon Goods is a 4-year mint, and you might not be hard coding anything else. And so a lot of these teams have an opportunity to get their rune in to first top 10 now, as long as he doesn't like add any more. But from the sounds of it, he's
yeah,
kind of like waffling on the whole thing. But we got, like, Uncommon Goods. That's what we know. But like, yeah, Tiny Vikings, R6, Runestones, like they're all
yeah.
in that. They're all in there. And like Runestones has been such a great story. So many people have done well. The floor's held up. The chart looks decent. I'm very bullish on Runestones.
Yeah. And real quick though, with Uncommon Goods, I meant to ask you this earlier. Do you think it's going to be down only? It definitely reminds me of Zen and like that type of ecosystem where it's just like it's free mint. It's free. All you do is you pay the gas fee and you get in just like Zen. And Zen's been down only. It's going to start at a high number because people are going to be overly bullish on it, and they're going to buy in high. And it's every single day the price is going to drop lower and lower and lower until someone figures out how to burn them. Right, because there can be projects that come in and they do these type of like Zen type things where they burn uncommon goods to get
Yeah.
something else, right? So without someone coming in and creating a project that burns uncommon goods, do you see uncommon goods as down only?
Yeah, like I wouldn't etch any with a 4-year window.
Yeah,
The 4-year window, like the mempool can do this like many times, right? So it's kind of like Doge BRC20. I'll mint it when
yeah,
it's like 2 sat V bytes and the ecosystem's dead, or I'll just buy it outright. And it's kind of it's interesting what Casey did there. It's like a longer term play, which is bullish, but just not for this cycle at all, right? So
yeah,
that's like Uncommon Goods might be a big deal in like 7, 8, 15 years, like a really big deal. But like for now, with a 4-year window, there's no there's nothing to take me there right now.
yeah,
And especially when everything's frothy in April, like why would you mint it or etch it in a high fee environment like at all? Like you need to wait for things to settle, and they will.
yeah,
So I do like what Casey did with it, though. He made it non-fungible. Like he's paying attention to the decimals. He set it the decimal to 0, so they're just like whole units, which I was like, I don't know what his reasoning was. Maybe it's a securities related thing, which is like a lot of the reason why I use the decimal function. But
yeah.
interesting play. Well, it's a long, it's got a long time frame, mentality behind this token. So
What do you think about it? Let's say if Ink didn't come out yet, right? And Ink was like, "Hey, the top 10,000 wallets that burn uncommon goods get the whitelist." What do you think about stuff like that happening? Because that's fair, right? That's the most fairest way you can do things, and it burns uncommon goods, which actually brings the ecosystem and brings runes up. What do you think about projects doing that? Having a burn function for that was kind of like it just kind of rings bells with me when he talks about uncommon goods and being this mint forever, and then talks about this burning thing. It's just kind of like perfect Marriage.
Well, this is what I was talking about with the BRC20s too, where like you can like birth a collection from a token or like some kind of unit, right?
Yeah.
So like that's like an interesting idea. It's like burn, and that's kind of what I was thinking with BRC20s too. Is like initially when the like parent-child was like pitched, it was that the parent would always get burnt. It was like as a default. And then they took that away. You still hold the parent, you can do it, and then you can choose to burn it if you want. But like if you had a dynamic where like you could just like develop like a protocol and pitch it to layer 1 foundation, or like the runes can do the same thing where you have a unit that like is a token, and you burn the thing, destroy the thing to generate an image from a token is like super compelling. So it's like either through parent child or through something like you were describing. It's like, you have to burn X amount of this to achieve Y. And but like for uncommon goods, I don't see like any kind of like upside in the price from that until the mint's done, right?
Yeah.
Because there's no effect on the cap. But I do like that. It's very similar to the D mints on atomicals too. It's like, you might need X token to get the collection, so it's just like, which one will users like the most, right? Like which really, I think parent-child is a great just like provenance kind of like tool, right? So I really like that you could create a collection using parent-child, and it would be tied to the token, which might be burnt or recycled or whatever, but everything's kind of like stitched together that way.
Yeah, for sure. All right, moving along here. Node monkeys, bullish or bearish?
Blue chip for
used to be
sure.
very bearish. Used to be very bearish on them. There's like a lot of people. Am I correct on that?
Yeah, blue chip for sure. At this price, I don't know. I'm like, I'd rather have an OMB.
Okay.
Or I'd rather have 2 quantum cats for that price, right?
Okay, so you would say bearish?
I would say it's
Neutral.
a blue chip that's not going away, and we're just gonna have to live with it. I just don't know if it's as bullish as the others.
Gotcha. Makes sense. Yeah. On one Force the Fallen.
I think it's got a pretty strong community. I don't know the background of the project enough. I'm not a fan of the art so much.
Yeah, the art sucks.
So I'm not picking any up. So like it's kind of like it's beyond me. I just don't know enough about the community.
Yeah, man. All right, the puppets.
Bearish.
Bearish on the puppets.
No, sorry.
Oh,
puppets.
Okay. I was about to say you're about to get ripped by so many people in this space. The community is insane. You're gonna have decentralized in your DMs.
That's a great troll, though. I should have told the.
You want to just do it, right? Let's just say bearish.
Yeah.
Bearish on the puppets.
No, I'm bullish on puppets for sure. Undervalued relative to node monks, I would say. But I think all this stuff can get like a dip. Like I can see puppets going to 0.1. Like I can see I can see like a lot of pain like coming to the ecosystem if it wants.
I'll tell you what though, puppets got 0.1. I'm backing a Bitcoin into that, dude.
I'd be all over it.
That could be a play.
Or like 1.5. It's like I'm kind of getting close to pulling the trigger there too.
Yeah, for sure. 1.5 would be a good price for that point for that as well. Because I feel like I missed this, and I don't want to pay 0.2. I think 0.19. I might start thinking about it, but 0.15 I'd probably be in, honestly.
Yep.
R6 Meta Protocol, bullish or bearish?
Bearish.
Bearish on R6 because it's already mining and there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Depreciating returns. So they got to like generate more mystery, like more possible use case, which I think they're like experts at doing that. They can tweet anything at any time to give people the impression that you need to hold these things, and like the cells will like they'll get delisted and buyers will step in. But absent that, I can't just like make that assumption that that's going to happen. So like with the current what's going on, bearish for now.
Gotcha. But if they came out and said by burning the R6 you get 1 million tokens, something like that, would you be bullish on?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And I'm sure like that team, like if they can squeeze in their token to like that top 10, they're gonna try and pull it off. Like
that definitely be something that pumps it up because I think they're gonna do something with the R6 actual inscription for it to really push for people to actually buy it. Otherwise, it's probably down only from here. But it has had a pop over the last couple days.
Yes. Yeah.
So, OMB, Ordinal Maximus.
Bullish. Yeah. Bullish on the cabal. What can you say? It's the cabal. They're gonna do their thing. But yeah, I'm bullish. It's still minting, right? It's like minting at 1 Bitcoin. So it's like kind of
it's not gonna hit. Yeah.
No, basically everything needs to be swept up to 1 Bitcoin and then over, and then people will mint the rest out, right? So
yeah,
I think they'll get
only like a couple hundred left, right?
Yep, and they'll get there.
Cents, bullish or bearish? This thing's been running. Bearish on the pennies.
Yeah.
We talked about Quantum Cats earlier, but Quantum Cats
very bullish.
Bullish on Udi, Eric, and Dan Held and them guys.
Yeah, I'm very, very bullish. Like I think Quantum Cats are like undervalued. It's just been very quiet, but especially leading up to Nashville, I expect a lot to be going on. I think they're going to get a push this summer.
Yeah, I actually scout out. I had 2 Quantum Cats. I scout out around 0.34. I'm glad I did, but I'm definitely looking for an opportunity to get back in. Probably during. I think I'm going to be purchasing a lot of Ordinals during the Runes craze. When everyone's looking that way, I think I'm going to start looking this way, and I'm just kind of waiting for my opportunity. Nat Cats, bullish, bearish.
Super bearish. I'm excited for Goose and Knowles to flip them.
Let's go. Bitcoin frogs, the sad frogs, man.
Bullish
on the frogs.
I like the drawdown. Yeah, like nice. They've been repriced. It's quiet. I was looking to buy some too. I'm still like debating it. I like that like 0.7 area, 0.8.
Yeah,
pretty attractive. It was down there for a little bit, but I didn't pull the trigger yet. But it's OG. Like you gotta, especially on Bitcoin, you gotta have like the longer term mentality. So anything that's like a blue chip that'll like carry, like you know, you're not gonna go like in another year. We'll still be looking at the Bitcoin frogs chart probably. I'm bullish on the term stuff on Bitcoin.
Why do you think node monkeys, because node monkeys and frogs are around 0.18 together for the longest time? Me and Yago be talking about it on the show for like 2 weeks straight about the battle between frogs and node monkeys. Node monkeys went to about 0.8 while the frogs came down to 0.08. Well, why do you think that node monkeys destroyed the frogs in that aspect?
You know, I don't know. I don't know where the liquidity came from that went into node monks, other than it was like, you know, big players from other chains to decide, you know, we want to get into this before it becomes like the next Yuga or whatever, right? Or like it's just like it's a default blue chip, but I don't know. Maybe it's just the timing, like when the collection, like, you know, frogs are just so old, the mint was so long ago, kind of a thing. Like that might be like it's just the eye, you know, the eyes of the users in the markets is just off of frogs. You know, it's kind of like they're taking their break. But yeah, I don't know where the liquidity came from. I mean, it was like immense. It was hundreds of Bitcoin, like, you know, daily buying.
Insane.
Things. Yeah.
Yeah, it had to be the ETH guys coming over. That's the only thing that I could see. And obviously, you know, a lot of the bigger guys were talking about no monkeys for a while too, like some of the bigger YouTuber NFT guys. Yeah. But and then not least here, but last, Rune Whisperers, bullish or bearish?
You know, I'm bullish, I think, but I don't know. I'm really awful with NFTs and ordinals and collections, to be honest. I'm stronger in tokens, and you know, I was expecting more out of the female puppets by now, and they're still like, you know, down 0.01. And I just hate to make calls on like, you know, maybe it's just like could be the next like flavor of the week or the day. Having said all that, I'm seeing so many like people using these actually as their PFPs on X, which is bullish, and like there's great engagement on like my Rune Whisperer posts, so that's bullish too. So I think there's like, yeah, they're trying to get repriced relative to Ink and All One Force. So I don't know, as long as that, yeah, as long as that narrative can keep going, I'm kind of bullish on them. Like for now, like I don't know what's coming next that can, you know, take people's attention away. But for now,
Yeah.
like they're getting sales.
Yeah, and 20 people buying right now.
Yeah.
And this one looks badass, dude. What is that? Like a doe? That is crazy. That's cool. But yeah,
Like
man.
an antelope or something. Yeah.
All right, we're gonna jump to some questions before we get out of here. We're now officially in the after hour of the show, but any idea what this person's talking about? Thoughts on F2 pools? Airdrop to runestone holders, largest inscription to date. What is any idea what that is from Patapro?
No idea. No.
Okay. Let's see. We got any other questions in here? Okay, this is an easy one. So the Unisat wallet is safe on Google Play Store. That's probably the safest play. Okay.
Yeah, there was like a fake iOS one, I think, that what they posted about yesterday. But yeah, the Google Play is good to go. Definitely use all their official links, use their site, you know.
Yeah, man. Here we go. Here's a question for you. What are Black's thoughts on the Rune Guardians? They pre-mine also.
I don't think they pre-mine. They're like a straight up redeem 1-for-1. Like, you know, run Rune Guardian gets you whatever. So kind of bullish on that. I'm not involved though, like Rune Mania, Rune Guardian. I kind of like skipped all of that stuff. So I don't know what to think of it. So much of all of these pre-runes depend on the teams and like what they can pull off when runes launch, right?
Yeah.
Can they get in the top 10? What's the ticker? Is it compelling? What's the like supply? And like all the tokenomics aren't like revealed on any of this shit, really.
Yeah. Yeah, man, for sure. Last topics here before we get going is the RuFi airdrop. Bullish or bearish on RuFi?
It's still minting, right? So
yeah,
then it just needs time. Like it's so many of the airdrops right now are just getting sold off because people want liquidity. There's like, you know, a bit of a spook today in the Bitcoin price. Yeah, everybody's getting ready for runes. So I think everything's just kind of like down until maturity. It's kind of like how I like to think of it. So I'm just like, you know, if runes is hot right now, then I'm like kind of more focused on like what's like in the shadows of like BRC 20s. And then like I'll pick up my runes when like everything's like, you know, kind of out there and like I can assess the like how the battle went, right? Like it's too foggy right now. I can't make any decisions. I can't allocate money. It's just easier to sit in Bitcoin. And I think that's what everybody's doing, right? You see it in the prices. People are just like, we're going into Bitcoin. We'll decide when we get there.
That's exactly what I'm doing. I followed your cue of like a few weeks ago. You were talking about you know, getting liquid. I think we got liquid for different reasons though. I got liquid so I can take advantage of some of these people dumping to get ahead of runes and stuff like that. I'm gonna probably start buying quantum cats and stuff like that at 0.1 something, and just like we said, and goose knows when they get under that 0.01 and stuff like that. I'm gonna take advantage of some of those while everyone's looking some way, and then people are gonna make a lot of money on runes just because people are just FOMOing in, and then a lot of that money is gonna come back to buy my bags over on with the Magic and stuff. But you got liquid for what you were thinking about getting liquid for another reason. Could you kind of get into that?
Yeah, it was actually just a Bitcoin chart mostly. That was like during that time, like a couple weeks ago, like when the weekly candles and the monthly candle was like looking super sketched out. And I was like, oh, you know, if it puts in a wick and closes at like 61, then like that's like a crazy reversal sign. And then we have all the news coming in April, just like kind of was like spelling doom. But like everything worked out for the best, right? And like here we are at 65,000. So
yeah.
And yeah, I actually like bought 3 runes this morning. I bought 3 tiny Vikings this morning. Yeah, which I'm pretty bullish on them actually. I think that's like a pretty good like pre-runes cook relative to the price of a lot of the other stuff too. It's cheaper. So you know, I got airdropped a bunch, but I'm actually adding to that. I'm not selling those. Those ones I'm like, for the pre-rune stuff, I'm pretty bullish on that collection. I don't know if you have any, but like they've kind of like slow revealed and they're kind of cool and stuff. They've done some like interesting stuff with the collection. And I think the team behind it is like pretty tied into the Cabal on a couple different levels. So I think like they're trying to be one of like the first to get their rune out when runes ship, and I think they can like maybe pull something cool off. So that's like a sleeper rune that I'm kind of like getting positioned into.
Yeah. All right. Final question here. What is your plan for runes? I think you already kind of said it a little bit, but you're just going to take a step back and kind of watch the battle before you enter?
Yeah, see where the pieces fall. Not going to play in the high fee environment. I think we should have learned that lesson like a couple months ago or like a month ago with BRC 20s too. Like look at like a lot of the mints, like the Eric, the E-Orb, some of the others, LIGO. It was like $20 a mint because it was like, 300 sat V-Byte type of environment. And it's just like in those high environments, the base price is so high, and like the frenzy is so hot that like when it dies off, it's just like down only, and it just like cuts through that base price because you're not getting in at like bitmap or sats levels from last year where it's like 2 sat V-Bytes and it's just a dream. Now it's like there's too much attention, too much hype, and liquidity is just like sloshing around. So yeah, you can just like get burnt really easy. You just end up like buying a bag for like a very high price. Even though you minted it, it's still like too high.
Yeah. What do you feel about like something like elephant with hat or some crazy meme coin come around? Will you be paying attention to that stuff to get in early? Because obviously you were early with most of the farm BRC 20s.
Yeah.
We'll be looking into getting into some of the elephant with hat, horse with jacket type of things.
I'm less bullish on rune tickers because they're just like so long and can come in so many different flavors. Like it's less restricted. It's restricted to the downside. We have 13 to 26 you can go to. And there's just like with BRC 20s for me, it was just like, oh, words. Like sats is just sats. No one else can ship it, like whatever. And then like the runes is just like you're gonna have like a proliferation of all this crazy stuff. And I think we'll see like everything that's been going on in Solana and all this is gonna come over here. And that's like what I was kind of like talking about earlier in the show. It's like I'm a little worried that like runes and BRC 20s like just can't scratch that itch. Like they're gonna like leave degen chain and like Solana and just like have a peak over here and they'll be like, what the hell? Like this is too funky, it's too slow. I'll just like, every 5 seconds there's a new token launching. I can just go back there and do like my high frequency shit coining.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, it's just like, is there like, if someone can find like one word that's 13 letters long, then I'm like, ooh, like maybe that's something like, I think could be, if it's a compelling thing. But like elephant with machine gun or whatever, like probably not getting into it.
That sounds pretty cool though. I'm not gonna lie. Elephant with machine gun, I would mint that. I would mint an elephant with a machine gun for sure.
Maybe I should just be deploying these and not like minting them. I'll just deploy them.
I mean, that was a pretty good idea. I'm not gonna lie. Elephant, dude, I'm minting that day one. Elephant with machine gun. Black man. That's a good ending call, man. Really appreciate you helping me out today. Really made the show really fun. I would love to do it again really soon if that is cool with you. I mean, I feel like we have so much more to talk about. I had all these banners and I just could not get to half of them, but definitely
pleasure,
for next time.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Sorry about the audio issues. We got that ironed out. I can do it anytime. You want to invite me, I'll definitely try to make it. It was a lot of fun.
Sounds great, dude. That's awesome. And where can people come find you if they're looking for you? I know where you're at, but
at Chain Racing Club on X. That's where you can find me. And if you want to like talk to me, find me in the OSD. Mostly just hanging out in the OSD, punching support tickets and degenning and just talking about the ecosystem.
Yep. If you guys are not in OSD, you guys miss some of the most alpha. I go in there sometimes just to listen, and then I get caught up on stage by hype. And then I'm like, oh crap, okay, here we go. But it's always so much fun, and I can't wait to be in OSD later today. And I'll see you then. See you guys.
Yep. Bye.
We OG. Oh no, G. bullish enough. Yeah. Oh no, you not bullish enough. You ain't got the oh no. I get stoned by the bolo. Bitcoin set to overload. Yeah. Experts on reload. Yeah. You're not bullish enough. Yeah. Oh no, you not bullish enough. You ain't got the oh no. I get stoned by the bolo. Bitcoin set to overload. Experts on reload. Mempool getting hot. Everybody wanna rock. Ayy. Runes is coming. Everybody on a knot. Ayy. It's a nuisance. Ordinal Revolution. Ayy. Ordinal Revolution. Yo, my guy for real, bro.
Runestones.
Got friends right now. Yo, BRC 420, bro.
Yeah.
Yo, that shit on fire, bro. Imagine if he in here. Yeah, lock it in the seal. Murder. I got balls of steel. Nuki on the field. Yeah, this shit for real. With no calls, I get so far. Got 100 phone calls that I go hard, and they gon' love me. Smoke weed, huddle back. I get shiesty. Where my Bitcoin looking lovely. All this Satoshi's nothing above me.